Good afternoon, guys. Happy Friday. Hate using that phrase, or is it Friday? I hate hollybobs. Friday. Anyway, tomorrow AFC Bournemouth entertain Norwich City at the Vitality, and I'm looking forward to it. Firstly, I put out a tweet earlier in the week just to thank everyone for their support for this YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please press subscribe, because just by doing that, I know there's lots of interest in me producing more videos, and also for all the podcast listens. I can't remember what it was, like 15,000 views over the last month or so, which is, for our size, we've only been getting 2 months, pretty good. And the podcast listens, nearly 5,000 downloads in the last month. So really happy with that. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, just search Back of the Net Bournemouth on any app where you listen to your podcasts, and you can have a listen. Last week's one in the international break, or this week's even, a bit of a special one because we went over the championship promotion and with some audio highlights and all sorts. So have a listen to that. It may make you a bit emotional. Some people have been said they were driving down the motorway with tears in their eyes. Good. So anyway, tomorrow 3:00. Good to get back to normal football. International breaks, not a fan of them, especially after Monday's game. I thought all of the players handled the situation in Bulgaria extremely well, not least Tyrone Mings, who emerged with a lot of credit. I still think there are better central defenders out there, but he was composed, didn't have any pressure, did he? Let's be fair. So everyone's kind of raving about how brilliant he was. Come on, I mean, we had no pressure whatsoever. Be interesting to see how he fares in more competitive matches though. But well done Tyrone, and also Callum Wilson got some minutes as well, so that was really good. Going to be an interesting one tomorrow. Norwich City's away form has been really poor, and our home form, aside from the Manchester City match, it's been all right. I felt as though we should have got results against Sheffield United and West Ham, of course. Our last away match, terrible first half against Arsenal, much better in the second, and should have emerged with something. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I think it's going to be closer than what some people predict. However, it was really interesting to catch up with Lewis from Norwich City Central. They produce YouTube content all the time. Recommend you subscribing to their channel by hitting the card above. But these were his thoughts ahead of tomorrow's game.
It's Lewis from Norwich City Central. Hope you're all doing okay. Thank you for inviting me onto your channel, and keep up the great work with the podcast. Just an opposition preview here, talking about my club Norwich and what we can expect from this game on Saturday. Really looking forward to it. And how do I feel Norwich City's season has gone so far? It's been certainly a strange one. Norwich City have had four away games this season and recorded no points. We've scored just the one goal and conceded 10. So from away from home we've really struggled, but we've been decent at home. But barring the 5-1 loss to Villa, and obviously the Manchester City win was incredible. So it's been a mixed start to the season, and the Premier League just shown how it's bonkers it is, because we beat Man City, we put in an excellent performance, but away from home we've looked like an average Championship team. We've been conceding goals for fun, and that's been really poor. So inconsistency is definitely a concern for us, but it's more so injuries. Norwich City have had so much hard luck with injuries. Fortunately enough, our big players like Pukki, Buendia, Cantwell haven't had too many injuries kind of at the time at Norwich, but this season we've had a lot of injuries, most notably Christoph Zimmermann, who was one of our best defenders last season's out, and Tim Closer as well is out for the whole season. So injuries is probably Norwich City's biggest worry, although a lot of them are going to be coming back for this game against Bournemouth. The likes of Tom Tribal, Mario Rancic, Ono Hernandez, who played pivotal parts for us in the Championship. So Norwich City could potentially turn a corner when these players come back, but players who are definitely going to be on the pitch, and the players who Bournemouth should look out for, is Teemu Pukki. I mean, we all know about this guy, top scorer in the Championship with 29 goals, and this season he's been incredible. Hasn't scored for a few games, but what I love about Pukki is his movement in behind and how clinical he is. He's a great finisher from Finland, and it's going to be really interesting to look at Teemu Pukki and Callum Wilson and potentially see who could get the most goals, because it could be a goal fest. But yeah, Pukki's an outstanding player. Players who you might not know too well, Todd Cantwell, he's been equally impressive. He's scored a couple of goals, a couple of assists. He plays on the left wing but likes to drift inside. He's a very creative player. And Emi Buendia as well. 5'7", but a fantastic footballer. So yeah, we've got a lot of talented attackers defensively, although the likes of Ben Godfrey, Max Aarons, Jamal Lewis are excellent. Because we play such attacking football, it does leave us exposed at the back. Hopes for the season: if Norwich City finish 17th, it's a fantastic season. I know you guys a few years back, when you in the Premier League, you obviously, a 17th place was a dream, and clubs like us, if we can get 17th place, that's amazing. Obviously in the future we want to push on for top 10 like you guys are now, but I think if we survive relegation, it'll be an excellent season considering our budget as well. And thoughts on Bournemouth away? I'm expecting a very difficult game. Bournemouth are a good team, playing an attacking style of football. Probably a team who Norwich look up to as role models in terms of the attacking football and how well Eddie Howe's done. And I think this could be a goal fest. Bournemouth, I think, haven't kept a clean sheet all season. Neither of Norwich. Both teams like to attack, so this could be an interesting one. Although Norwich City haven't scored many away goals this season, I feel like that could change, and I feel like we could be scoring some more goals very soon in the future. But a prediction: Bournemouth are going to be favourites. It's going to be a very tough game, but I've got a feeling with injuries coming back, things could start to click. The likes of Tribal, Ono Hernandez, Mario Rancic coming back could be influential for us, and I think Pookie could start to get a couple of goals, and the Pookie party could start to resume. My prediction: Bournemouth 2, Norwich City 2. I think there's going to be some goals in this game, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on the channel. Looking forward to the game. And yeah, if you want to hear more about Norwich, subscribe to Norwich City Central and keep up with the great podcast. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Lewis, and I do recommend you subscribing to their channel. It's a club that's actually fairly well served with YouTube channels, actually, whereas ours not so, hence why I start to do this. But really good to see his opinion, really good in front of the camera, and I've seen a lot of his tactical insights, and yeah, really interesting. And obviously he's going for a 2-2 tomorrow. I personally think that we'll get a result. In the press conference this morning, Eddie Howe, of course, spoke about Monday's England game and said Callum and the players handled it with real class. In terms of what AFC Bournemouth did over the international break, they had a behind closed doors game and the players visited the academy, and there was a lot of team building as well. Players coming back from injury: Adam Smith, he's getting closer but probably won't be available for tomorrow. David Brooks, Junior Stanislas, and also Dan Gosling are still some way off, so don't expect to see their names on the team sheet. David Brooks isn't even back on grass yet, but he is in the gym pumping some iron, so I can't wait to see him back very soon. In terms of Eddie Howe's thoughts about Norwich, he says, I admire any team that sticks to their philosophy. We know we're going to have to be good in this game. They are very dangerous, and with a lot of talented young technical players. He went on to say that I wasn't surprised they earned promotion after our cup game last season. They are a tough opponent, and it certainly is. He also spoke about the TV fixtures. Obviously, they've been announced. Bournemouth's 5 matches will be televised, 4 of which have got a different kickoff time. A couple of them, of course, being shown on Amazon, which was always going to be the case. They've got a couple of 2 midweek rounds. That'll be interesting to see how that thing actually goes with Amazon. But yeah, the Crystal Palace match is now a day earlier and at 7:30. There are some 8:15 kickoffs. Granted, they're like Liverpool against Everton, which is easy for everyone to get home, and also Arsenal against Brighton as well. So it's not too bad travelling to the Emirates from the Brighton and Hove area. So that's not too bad. But he said about those festive fixtures, you become accustomed to it. It's not ideal. It is what it is. We have the squad for these things. It is what it is. Has he been watching Love Island? I enjoyed playing at Christmas time myself, but with the speed of Premier League matches, it is a different game now. Now, we've got 2 matches in the space of under 48 hours, so that's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. We'll need to use our squad, and it's good that we've got all of these players that are coming back for around that time as well. So that's, really useful. Also, he was speaking about the previous matches this season. He says we are building momentum in our season, so this is a key game for us. We could have got more against West Ham and Arsenal, so we obviously want to win on Saturday. Now, over the period, of course, they have had some training, of course, with the academy, but also apparently they played a cricket match as well. So interesting. There's some related pun there. Can't think of it right now. But from my point of view, I just want to talk about how the team is probably going to look ahead of that game. Now, I think the defence pretty much picks itself. Ramsdale in goal, Rico, Ake and Cook. The only question mark is over the right back position. Jack Stacey got more into the game in the second half against Arsenal. However, when Frano came on, he was dreamy, to be fair. Only had a short sort of cameo, and I did like what I saw, but it would be a shame for Stacey to be missing out ahead of Simon Francis each and every time from now on, because Stacey needs minutes. If he's going to get accustomed to Premier League life, I think Frano should really be the understudy. And if Stacey gets injured or has to come off, absolutely fine. We've got a ready-made replacement there, but I'd like to see Stacey. I put out a tweet earlier in the week asking for your opinions on who you think will start, and the consensus was it was probably going to be those four. Some people were saying Smith, but Eddie Howe's confirmed today that it's probably not going to be back. Midfield, interesting. I think it's going to be a sort of, well, if I amalgamate everyone's opinions, they're going 4-3-3. That includes Lewis Cook in the midfield, playing just behind Billing and Lerma, and that also has Fraser up front with King and Wilson, which basically means Harry Wilson will be dropping out, and Solanke. That's the kind of amalgamated team formation. In my opinion, I think that's probably correct. Fraser did well when he came on for those 60 minutes against Arsenal, was really direct and helped to create a number of opportunities. Harry Wilson did improve, however, I just feel as though maybe he's been played a little bit too much, and I don't know, he came off a bit early for Wales in the week. Some people thought it was a knock, but it wasn't. It was just precautionary. He's fine, but I would like to see him try to compete and work his way back into the team with positive performances coming off from the bench, and maybe he can disrupt Ryan Fraser and those two can battle it out. Some people have been mentioning Dan Juma as well. I think it's probably not right for him to start just yet, but I'd like to see him come off from the bench. And Solanke, for all the good he's done, I think having those three together could cause a lot of damage against Norwich. They've been really poor on the road, as I say, and defensive frailties is their middle name, just like us really. So it could be a game that will ebb and flow tomorrow, because obviously we've got issues at the back, maybe not centrally, but on either flank, less so with Rico the more that time's actually gone on. So it's going to be quite an absorbing encounter, but I think the quality that we've got in the middle of the park should hopefully prevail. Obviously we're looking out for a few of their star men. Pukki, of course, is going to be top of Eddie Howe's radar, but collectively they're a decent footballing side, and I would like to see them stay up. They're not dissimilar to us. I just consistency is the key to staying in the Premier League and just picking up little results here and there, but I just don't understand how they can go from beating Man City to then shipping 5 goals at home to Aston Villa. I mean, against Man City, they were heavily depleted as well with their team lineup. I know that they had injuries again against Aston Villa, but I don't know, it's almost like a psychological thing. But yeah, they need this. Daniel Farke's going to be making sure that they're rigid at the back and can maybe counter-attack. It could be a similar scenario to the Sheffield United match, in which case we've got to be more clinical. Callum Wilson has been guilty of missing gilt-edged chances for AFC Bournemouth, not least at home against West Ham. I think Everton, he had one. England in the week, Arsenal in our last Premier League game, so he's got to be more clinical. But Fraser and Wilson always combine well, and I'd like to see Fraser starting. So that's the team lineup that I would like to be going for anyway. Let me know your thoughts about the team lineup in the description, in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. Before I go, just want to say we will be outside the stadium tomorrow, but we won't be in our usual place. Join us by following us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, because we'll put out a little message that tells you exactly where we are. We probably just might be around the corner from the Great Escape Bar where we were by the reception. There's a lot of footfall through there, and whilst that's good for grabbing people's opinions, there's a lot of movement. There's an ambulance there. There's all sorts of people clearing the way. We don't want to get in the way of people. And also, I think that if we maybe get a bit further back from the reception where lots of people are just aiming to get away, maybe some more people will be wanting to chat to us. I hope so, because we have got some regular faces, which is great, but we do want some new faces on the channel as well, and getting your opinion in. I only want like 2-3 minutes of your time, and there's nothing to be scared of. It's just me and a couple of others and an iPhone. So yeah, it's not anything to be worried about, and we'll just get them straight on. If you think that maybe we should drop the fans' thoughts afterwards, let me know, and maybe we can work in something else. But yeah, subscribe. Remember to do all the podcast stuff in terms of sharing it on your social media, and also giving it a like on iTunes as well, and reviewing it, because that really, really helps us go up the algorithm. But until then, enjoy the game tomorrow. Fingers crossed it's going to be an AFC Bournemouth win. I'm going for 3-1. So yeah, interesting times. See you tomorrow at the game. Up the cherries.